What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today I'll be doing something a bit different. I'm going to be ranking all of the Evil Dead movies. Now, this is my opinion, so if you don't agree with it, that's cool. It's fine. It's just my opinion. I love the Evil Dead franchise. My favorite horror movie of all time is Evil Dead 2. So obviously I think we know where that's going to be on the list. But okay, let's start. Now, I know Ash vs. Evil Dead is a show, but I am going to include that because that show was amazing and there's no way that I can't show any love to that. Starting from the bottom, Evil Dead Rise. It was a good movie. It was a mix between the 2013 Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. It was a bloody good time, and I know a lot of people enjoyed it. If you're an Evil Dead fan, I highly suggest go watching that. It's last on my list because it's just, out of all the Evil Dead movies, it's my personal least favorite. Coming in at number 5, I have the 2013 Evil Dead. This one, just like Evil Dead Rise, was a bloody good time. I mean, they used a lot of blood. A press report stated that over 70,000 gallons of blood was used in this movie, so it's pretty intense. Mia, I love Mia. She's a great new character. I mean, it's 2013, so she's not new, but new in comparison to, you know, the old Evil Deads with Ash. So I love Mia so much. Number 4, we got Army of Darkness. I absolutely love Army of Darkness. I know it's kind of low on the list, but it's definitely still a horror movie, but it's totally more of a comedy in my opinion, which is fine. I personally prefer those type of horror movies. Now, my favorite type of horror is the campy, silly comedies, and then also the suspense thriller. I love a good suspense thriller mystery. I'm not big on horror movies that rely heavily on gore. I understand that most horror movies, all horror movies, in fact, have a certain level of gore. But what I mean by that is if it's just relied on all the slicing and dicing and blood and there's not really a good story to be told, I'm not very interested in those kind of horror movies. Coming in at number 3 is the Ash vs. Evil Dead series. This was an amazing good time. It sucks that it was cut so short. Bruce Campbell even said himself that if it had been on a different platform, maybe Netflix, a different streaming service, it would have done better and we would have possibly got one more season to tie everything up. But it was on Stars and most people just didn't have Stars. I myself didn't watch the show until it was on Netflix. And when it first dropped on Netflix, it was the #1 show for a while. So that just proves right there that if it would have initially started on Netflix, it would have done way better. So unfortunately it didn't, but again, Ash vs. Evil Dead, number 3 on my list because it was an amazing show and such a great addition to the Evil Dead franchise. Coming in at number 2 is Evil Dead 1, the OG, the original, the one that started it all. I really enjoyed Evil Dead 1. It's a great horror movie. Even Stephen King gave it so much praise for being different. It was very different, especially for the time. There was nothing like it. Bruce Campbell crushed it. I mean, come on. No one will do Ash better than Bruce Campbell. The low budgetness is another thing that just makes this film so great. If you watch documentaries or interviews from the cast and crew, it's just some of them actually went through hell on Evil Dead 1 and 2. We'll get to that though. But it was so low budget, but for the budget they had, they really made a masterpiece in my opinion. So Evil Dead 1 comes in at number 2 on my list. And no surprise here, number 1 is Evil Dead 2. I think this is the best out of the franchise. And again, maybe I'm a bit biased there because this is my favorite horror movie in general out of any horror movie. I think it's fantastic. People argue whether or not it's a reboot or whether or not it's a sequel. It's kind of both. Bruce Campbell actually said in an interview that at the time, I'm not sure about now, but at the time, they didn't have the rights to Evil Dead 1. Because to get it put out, they had to put it under a whole different company because it was just too, I don't know, too bloody, too horror. I have no idea what the issue actually was with it, but they didn't have the rights to their own movie. So they remade it, but they also changed it a bit because their budget was higher, which makes sense, and which is another reason why this is my favorite over Evil Dead 1. But I will always have a soft spot for Evil Dead 1 because it started the franchise. So coming in at number 1, no surprise here for me, is Evil Dead 2. Watching my video. I know this is different from the content I normally put out. I've never done lists or ranks before, but I thought that this would be fun seeing as Evil Dead Rise just came out and I just seen it. If you want to see my review on that, there's some spoilers. I will have it linked down below. Thanks again so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Hail to the king, baby.